Welcome back to Short Game Spotlight, where I showcase great games on physical media that are relatively short to complete, making them perfect for a weekend's play or for someone who just doesn't have the time they used to play video games. In this episode, I'll be taking a look at Deliverers: The Moon. Set in the not too distant future, the Earth is a wasteland depleted of its resources. Its only shred of hope is a new source of energy found on the moon called Helium-3, which is beamed back to Earth by a space team using a huge energy beam. In the year 2054, the energy transfer stops and the moon team goes off the radar with no explanation. It's up to you to travel to the moon, discover what happened, and get the beam running again. As someone who only dips his toe into sci-fi, the premise intrigued me, and the game really does well to keep the mystery unfolding at a good pace. Once you reach the moon, you'll encounter items, audio logs and holograms that will drip feed you parts of the story and exactly what's happened to this base. The game switches between first and third person perspectives, which I feel works wonders in immersing you into the gameplay and providing the best perspective for the situation in hand. For example, you'll be in a first person perspective for your shuttle launch, while in third person for certain platforming segments. Speaking of which, the gameplay here is nicely varied, providing lots of different challenges as you traverse the moon. Ultimately, it's the puzzles that are most prominent, which are quite varied themselves. They're just the right difficulty to give some challenge, but also allow the game to flow. Other gameplay elements involve driving, floating in zero gravity, exploring on foot, and there are some platforming sections as well. There are parts of the game where you can explore at your own pace, soaking up the atmosphere and the plot, but there's also times where you're against the clock, whether it be a timed event or having to refill your depleting oxygen tank. Near the start of the game, you'll find a laser cutter which becomes very useful in cutting wires and doors open. You'll also make a robot friend on your quest, and you can use this android to fly through small gaps and tunnels and activate switches. Even on the base PS4, this game looks wonderful. You can tell the team certainly put a lot of effort into the design of the station. There's some wonderful views as you look across the emptiness of space and see Earth in the distance. There are one or two small issues I had with the game freezing during loading a new environment section, but ultimately, Deliverers: The Moon was a joy to play. It's probably one of my favourite games I've played this year. I was intrigued by the plot and I wanted to keep playing on and on until I found out what truly happened to this space crew. The gameplay is wonderfully varied and it doesn't stick with one aspect too long to make it stale and repetitive. If you have even the slightest interest in this game, get it and play it.